They're trying to stay right there as they open up a series against the Texas Rangers. And yes, they are on top. These are the standings coming into today's play. Texas Rangers took a run at Oakland, but they're not going to get there, and it doesn't look like the White Sox will either. Hello, everybody. Gary Thorne and Joe Morgan. Welcome to California here in Oakland tonight. A couple of ball clubs opening up the series, and again, for the Oakland A, Sandy Alderson has pulled the trades.
Well, Sandy Alderson has remade this ball club a couple of times, and I think the latest makes them even better. You know, the addition of Harold Baines as the designated hitter, good, solid power hitter, and Willie McGee. I think he will add some speed to the ball club. You know, you think of the A's as having a lot of speed, but they need one more guy.
Okay, and for the Texas Rangers, Ricky Henderson is going to look at the guy who's chasing him for the batting title in the American League.
Well, Rafael Palmeiro has really he got off to a great start last year, and then he faltered. He got off to another good start this year, and he's been able to maintain it. But I still feel like Ricky Henderson will win the American League batting race because he can get a lot of bases on balls, he runs well, and all that will count down the stretch.
And for the Oakland A's tonight, a question of whether they can continue to win at home. This has been a very friendly confines for them. They like playing here.
Well, they've done a great job here, and that's the reason that they're going to win the West, is because they had more games here the second half than Chicago had in their ballpark. And being at home has been a blessing for the Oakland A's, and they take advantage of it.
Play an afternoon game here, and they draw 36,000 people. You don't think they're popular and rolling on the field and off, including the cash register. Our starting pitchers tonight, Jamie Moyer for Texas and Bob Welch for the Oakland A's. Oakland A's here at home this season have won 42 ball games and lost only 23. Against the Texas Rangers this season, the clubs have split their 6 games. They are 3-3 in them. For the Texas Rangers, rather, they have lost 3 in a row coming into tonight's game. And our Sears Die-Hard starting lineup for the visiting Texas Rangers will look like this. Gary Pettis, the switch hitter, leads it off in center. Jeff Houston is playing at shortstop, left-handed hitter. Rafael Palmeiro at first base. Ruben Sierra in right field. Julio Franco, good offensive season at second base. Pete Incaviglia will be in left. Gino Petralli will do the catching tonight. First game since being recalled. Juan Gonzalez, the DH, and Jeff Kunkel will be at third base. The defensive alignment for the A's tonight, it'll be Canseco with the bat back in right field. Willie McGee, second start in center. Ricky Henderson in left. Carney Lansford at short, third. Gallego at short. Weiss is on the DL. Randolph at second base. Mark McGuire at first. And the battery mates, Ron Hasse and Bob Welch. 21-5. Joe.
Well, Bob Welch has really been helped by the addition of the forkball. I think that is the pitch that has made him the 20-game winner for the first time in his career. You know, Bob used to have a fastball and a curveball, and he'd get in trouble late in the ball game, and he'd go to one of those 2 pitches, and the guy could kind of sit on one. Now with the third pitch, the forkball, which he has a lot of confidence in, he's been able to go through the rough spots that he's had during the ball game. So I think the key to his success is definitely the forkball.
Boy, it has certainly made him a very successful pitcher. He has a chance to become the winningest pitcher in Oakland A's history. Catfish Hunter, who won 25 games in 1974, holds that record, both for the A's in Oakland and the A's when they played in Philadelphia. Gary Pettis leads it off, and he takes the pitch down low for ball. We are underway on this Friday night for the second half of our doubleheader. The A's will do a little scoreboard watching tonight with Texas here and Chicago also playing on the West Coast. Towards second, Randolph. And there's one away, and the ground ball out. Texas Rangers are in a woeful team slump. They are batting 167 over the last 15 games, and virtually everyone in this lineup is not hitting.
Well, it's unusual when you go into a complete team slump when you have as many good hitters as the Texas Rangers do. I think therein lies the real mystery, how so many good hitters can go into a slump. A lot of times a team may have 2 or 3 good hitters and they go into a slump, but the Texas Rangers have 5 or 6 real good hitters.
Jeff Houston is one of those struggling a bit right now. He is 1 for 13. Pettis, who just grounded out, is 2 for his last 19. We'll tell you about the others as we go through them here. 1-0 delivery. Houston to left. Henderson. And Welch is on his way to a quick first inning there. The first 2 are retired. Umpiring crew for tonight's game here in Oakland. Tim Cheetah, 5-year man behind the plate. Joe Brinkman, who's the crew chief at first. Rick Reed will be at second. And Terry Cooney umpiring at third base. Here's the man we were talking about in that race for the batting title. He is second in the league. Henderson batting .327, and there you see the numbers on Palmeiro, who's second, tied with George Brett, also batting .316 starting today.
Well, you can see that on base percentage of .357. That means he has to get a lot of hits. He doesn't walk very often, and when you get down the stretch, you get a little tired. The more at bats you have to get base hits, the rougher it is to keep that average up above the .320 mark. And I think that's where it's going to be to win the American League batting race. I think it's going to be about a little over .320.
So Henderson at .327 may, if he can stay there, will win it.
Right.
You heard it here first, folks. 2-1 count, 2 down. Welch with the off speed to second. Willie Randolph on the short hop. And there's about as easy an inning as you can get. But what do you expect from a 21-game winner? A's coming up. Welch getting the Rangers down in the first inning, and the Oakland A's on their way to the plate. They too have had some troubles delivering the long ball by which they live and die, with Canseco and McGuire struggling a bit, but they're still winning ball games. And our Sears diehard starting lineup for the home Oakland A's tonight: Ricky Henderson, the league leader, leading it off. He'll be followed by Carney Lansford. Look at the right-handers. Canseco bad back in right field. McGuire will be at first base. Willie McGee gets the start in center. Steinbach will be doing the DHing tonight. Hasse will do the catching, left-handed hitter. Willie Randolph will be at second base, and Mike Gallego is batting ninth. The defensive alignment for Texas: Sierra, Pedersen, and Cavilla in the outfield. Kunkel, and Franco Palmeiro, Petrali, and the left-hander, 27-year-old Jamie Moyer, who's 1-5, making the start. And here's Ricky. He did it again yesterday. He delivered another leadoff home run. What new for Ricky Henderson? And he takes the strike from Jamie Moyer.
Moyer will throw a lot of changeups. He's a fastball changeup pitcher. I should say changeup fastball pitcher. He'll throw more changeups than he will anything else.
See the numbers for him. Suffered through injuries last year. Has worked out of the pen in the starting rotation this year. And for Ricky Henderson, yesterday, 45th time in his career that he has led a game off with a home run, and the 5th time that he's done it this year. The A's won yesterday, and he's off on another base hit. Gets by Incaviglia. Henderson looking straight out, sees an easy double. Joe, if he's not MVP, I don't know what one looks like.
Well, I think he should be the most valuable player in the American League. He is definitely the most valuable player on the Oakland A's ball club. You think about Canseco, you think about McGuire, the big guys hitting the home runs, but Ricky Henderson, he jump starts this ball club. It's a fastball. He tries to get it in, and he doesn't get it in far enough. It's really in the middle of the plate, and Ricky can really turn on the ball. That's why he has the 23 home runs, and then Cavilla can only chase it down, and Ricky glides in the second with a double.
That is his 27th double of the season. So Jamie Moyer in trouble right away. The opposition's hitting .280 against Moyer, and Carney Lansford takes the pitch for a ball.
I would think in this lineup he would have trouble with Ricky Henderson, Carney Lansford, and probably Willie Randolph, and maybe Willie McGee. You know, a lot of people think that Willie McGee will have to adjust to the American League. I don't really think so.
Lansford takes it up high. Moyer missing, and he's behind on the count now. 2 balls and no strikes. Chance to score Ricky Henderson, who's 16 shy of the all-time stolen base mark. Those are his numbers this year. 2-0 delivery, 1 to hit, fouled off. 2 balls, 1 strike.
And there you see the true measure of a team. Carney Lansford, even though he had Moyer 2-0, he was still taking a shot toward right field, trying to move Ricky Henderson over to third base. A lot of guys in that situation with 2-0, they know a fastball is coming, they're going to try to jerk it and maybe even hit the ball out of the ballpark. But Carney stayed with the team concept and tried to go the other way.
The biggest problem that Tony La Russa has now is trying to figure out where to put good people in the lineup. Henderson's running, hit and run, base hit, perfectly played by Kunkel, who covered the bag. Henderson scores, 1-0 A's.
Gary, I think that was a set play. I know when I played with Ricky Henderson, we talked about doing that. In fact, we did it a couple of times. He takes off for third. Now the third baseman has to go and cover. Carney Lansford knows he's going to get a fastball or an off-speed pitch, so he gets out in front and he makes sure he pulls the ball. And it leaves the hole wide open. As you see Ricky take off, Kunkel nowhere in sight. He's covering the bag. The whole left side of the infield is open. That, in my opinion, was a set play because I've seen it work before with Ricky Henderson.
What a beautiful baseball picture that was. So Tony La Russa's number 2 man, Carney Lansford, delivers again for Lansford. 46 RBIs on the season, and here's Canseco. Still nobody out. Runner at first base. And he takes it for the strike. The home runs have dropped off. Still right up there among the leaders with 35. He is second to Fielder, but it has been a while for Canseco, and there's no question the bad back has affected his swing. Hasn't had a home run in 19 games, and that's 75 at-bats. And you're looking at a ball player who, coming into this season, was hitting a home run once every 14 at-bats in his career.
Well, there's no doubt it's his right side that bothers him the most, and he can't really work through it. He doesn't get any bat speed.
Tom McMurtry already up in the bullpen for Bobby Valentine's Rangers, and the count is 2-1.
Anytime your bat speed is affected, it affects the rest of your game because mentally you start to try to hurry up to get the bat through the hitting zone, and when you do that, you're real susceptible to off-speed pitches.
Takes the big cut, fouls it off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ballpark that does not give up as many home runs as people might think. 330 down each line, 375 in the power alleys, 400 to straightaway. Lots of room in foul territory. Was 10th in the league last year in home runs hit in the yard, and this season there have been only 97 home runs hit here despite all this Oakland power. Runner at first, 2-2, nobody out. High fly ball to left. Incaviglia can't find it. Covering up in center's Gary Pettis. Incaviglia could not find the baseball, and credit Pettis with coming over and helping out, and he gets a tip of the cap from Pete Incaviglia.
Actually, you got to credit Canseco for hitting it so high. That was a towering fly ball to left field. I mean, it stayed up there about 20 seconds. See, Incaviglia doesn't see it, but it gives Gary Pettis time to come over from center field and make the catch. But it was so high, that's the reason he had plenty of time. He actually overran it a little bit himself.
He had to turn on the jets at the last minute when he realized Incaviglia was not going to get it. Canseco becomes the first out. Lansford remains at first base. And here's Mark McGwire. Continue to look at that average of McGwire and the output, and you go, how can it be? He's third in RBIs and he's third in home runs, but he's not third in batting average.
Well, and that's a source of irritation both for Tony La Russa and for Mark McGwire, because they both know he's a better hitter than that. When I said source of irritation, Tony does not want him to be comfortable hitting 217 even though he's going to drive in 100 runs, because he's a better ball player than that, and Tony likes for guys to get the most out of their abilities. And I think Mark McGwire is a little disappointed with his average as well.
Another off-speed pitch by Moyer, way out in front of it, 0-2. He told us last week, Joe McGwire did, that he says, I'm a 270, 280 hitter. I feel that's what I am. And obviously I'm really disappointed with that number this season.
Well, his batting average has gone down instead of up. You know, his first year, his rookie year, I thought that this guy was going to hit 285, maybe even 300 and hit 30 to 40 home runs a year. But his average has gone down, even though his home runs have remained, you know, over 30. He's the only guy to ever hit over 30 for 4 straight years, his first 4 years in the major league. So his home runs have stayed pretty steady, but his batting average has dropped. And I think, truthfully, it's a little bit of the fact that he's trying to hit home runs a little more often than he did before.
1-2 delivery to him, and Moyer goes outside with this one and misses. For McGwire this season, he's batting only .216 against left-handed pitchers, and that's hard to figure out.
That's amazing, because he's strong.
And he rips that one down into the corner. Incaviglia after it. Lansford rounding second. On his way to third, he'll be held up by Rene Lachemann, and it is a double for Mark McGwire. That's the reason I'm surprised that he's hitting so low against left-handed pitching.
If you're real strong, you can take the left-handed pitch this away like this one and drive it into the corner. You can still pull the ball if you're big and strong. If you're just average strength, you have to hit that ball to center field or back to the right side. But being strong like that, I don't see how he ever has any problems with left-handers, because he can wait so long, he doesn't have to commit himself because of his strength.
There's Bobby Valentine. We're in the first inning. A 1-0 lead, 3 hits already off Jamie Moyer, and he's in trouble. And this is one of the real disappointments for the Rangers and Bobby Valentine this season. Talking with him before the game, is that they have not been able to get the service out of Jamie Moyer they had hoped for. Only his 10th start. He's had to go to the bullpen part of the year. Last outing against Minnesota, gave up 5 runs on 8 hits over 6 innings. He's won only one of his last 5 starts, 1, 2, and 2 during that time. He just has not been able to put a season together.
Well, the one thing that Valentine has in his favor if he wants to make a move is the Oakland A's have stacked their lineup with right-handed hitters. So if he goes to the bullpen and brings in McMurtry, they're only going to have Willie McGee, a switch hitter, and Ron Hassey, another left-handed hitter, in the lineup. So he's not in as big a trouble as he might be if he has to take Moyer out this early.
And there's the first pitch that Willie McGee sees in an Oakland A's uniform and in the American League. 31-year-old veteran. There you see his numbers in the National League with the St. Louis Cardinals. A strong season, trailing Dykstra for the batting title, and yes, he'll remain qualified throughout the year. He's had enough at-bats.
Well, that right there is why I said it doesn't take Willie McGee long to adjust to the American League. Willie McGee is a swinger, not a thinker. He goes up to hit what he sees. He doesn't really think along with the pitcher. And that's the National League batting race.
And could he win it playing in the American League? Yes, he can. No one's ever done that before. The 1-1. McGee fouls it back.
Well, you have to have 502 plate appearances, and that includes your base on balls, your hit by pitchers, and so forth and so on. He has 501 official at bats, and then you throw in the walks and the hit batsman, and he's well over the 502 that he needs, plate appearances that he needs.
So Dykstra, trying to win the title, has to look against the guy who's not going to get to the plate again. 1-2 count. Runners at second and third. McGee fouls it off. Willie's an 8-year veteran now. He's 31 years old and a .292 lifetime hitter. He has won 3 Gold Gloves in his career. Won one in '83, then in '85, his best year. He was the National League MVP. He batted .353 in 1985. Won another Gold Glove in '86. Injuries have kept him down last season, and part of this. McGee towards short. Almost got the runner. Jeff Houston makes the play, and that'll do it. So Moyer that does not do it. Lansford scores. Jeez, I wanted to help him out of the inning in a hurry, didn't I? Only 2 down.
A little help.
I'm sorry. Carney Lansford scores the second run. It's not over. I was going to say he gets out of it easy. He would have, but not so. So McGee in his first at bat gets an RBI on the ground ball. 2-0.
I think that was a deceiving statistic that no one noticed about McGee there. He had 62 runs batted in, hitting second and leadoff sometimes for the Cardinals. And by comparison, Harold Baines only had 44 RBIs. So everyone's talking about the Harold Baines addition. I think Willie McGee is going to be the key addition for the Oakland A's. And I think that's why they made the trade as an afterthought when it became available.
No squeeze, bunting for the base hit. Terry Steinbach fouls it back.
Talking to Sandy Alderson, they were trying to make the Baines deal for quite a while. But all of a sudden, after they made the Baines deal, the Willie McGee thing became a possibility, and they jumped right on it. So I think they realized as well that Willie McGee is a class act. He can really help them a lot down the stretch and in the playoffs. He's been there a few times before.
Steinbach, the designated hitter, as Hassey is the regular catcher for Bob Welch. You've got both catchers in the lineup. Moyer misses away, a ball and a strike. 6-game hit streak for Steinbach. Those are the numbers during that hit streak. So as usual, when one person's struggling in the lineup offensively for the A's, somebody else comes through. Steinbach's been doing it with Canseco hurting at the plate of late. Moyer the breaking ball in 1-2.
The one thing I'm a little surprised at with Moyer is that he's not coming inside enough to keep these right-handers honest. You have to come in off the plate to make your change-ups effective.
Steinbach hitting .264 off left-handers. Taps that one. Kunkel, the third baseman, cuts it off, and now Jamie Moyer can go to the bench. Tried to rob the A's of a run. Oakland A's have now scored 107 first inning runs this season. That is the most of any inning, and they get ahead and stay ahead with their pitching staff, and they've got the 2-0 lead, and Bob Welch generally doesn't need much more than that. That's why he's 21-5. Sports fans, you vote. You're voting for the Cy Young Award winner in the American League, and Joe Morgan says the winner is
Roger Clemens. I think Bob Welch is having a fantastic year, but when you look at what the Rocket is doing, 1.98 earned run average, he leads the league in strikeouts. He's just done everything, and he's the reason that Boston is still in first place. He's single-handedly, in my opinion, put them up on the Blue Jays.
So you've heard it here first again. We're just getting all these firsts out of the way. Ruben Sierra, 3 hits in his last 15 at-bats. Another struggling Texan in that lineup. Welch delivers inside to him. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I think Bob Welch has fallen into the Dave Stewart syndrome of, you know, having a great year, but someone else is just doing a little better at this particular time.
Got him to chase that one going away on Bob Welch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Welch and Ron Hassey, the battery mates who have been together over the last 3 years, an incredible combination. If you can believe this number, with the 2 of them together, Welch and Hassey, the record over the last 3 years is 51-14.
Well, that's why Hassey plays all the time when he pitches.
1-2 is popped up. The silo shot at the plate. Hassey coming back, finds an angle. And Sierra's retired. Franco coming up, and here's John Saunders.
History made in Seattle tonight. It starts with a bang. Ken Griffey's on first and on second, both with singles. And then Alvin Davis brings in senior. Ken Griffey Jr. would later score. 2-0 is the score. Let's get it back to Gary and Joe. As I said, we'll follow history in Seattle.
Joe's following some history too. Good buddy of yours right there.
Yeah, well, hey, I helped raise Junior.
Yeah, that's right.
He used to be in the clubhouse when we were at the Reds together, and his father was a teammate of mine for so many years. 2 very fine young people.
The wonderful baseball story. One away, nobody on.
And they're from a baseball town, Denora, Pennsylvania. Yeah. Stan the Man Musial from there too. Not that town raises some hitters.
That's tough.
Yeah,
and not a big city either. Julio Franco, one of the few Texans who is hitting. He's had 7 hits in his last 15 at-bats, pushing that average up to near the 300 mark. He's just out of the top 10 in the American League. Welch ahead on the count 0-2, and you'll note tonight Bob Welch, if he's on, will do that all the time. He'll be ahead. Franco with that unusual stance as he prepares to swing.
He wraps the bat around his neck, which makes it have to travel that much farther, but he gets it there, so he knows what he's doing. He's hit over 300 the last 3 years, I guess, so he's a good hitter.
He's a 298 lifetime hitter, 28 years old. Keep you updated on all the scores as we roll along tonight, and there's a base hit in the left center field, so he's reached the 300 mark. It'll be played in by Willie McGee, and Franco's on with a 1-out single here in the 2nd inning. That'll be the first hit off Bob Welch. Opposition against Welch this season, batting .249.
So he gets the bat to the ball. He got jammed a little bit, but he had such a good level swing, he was able to get it over the infielder's head.
Seems so funny to look out there and see Willie McGee in center field without a St. Louis uniform on. It's not funny, but there are a lot of smiles in Oakland about it, believe me, to have him out there with Dave Henderson undergoing surgery. And he'll hold Franco on at first base. McGuire holding the bag.
McGee lives about 8 miles, 10 miles from here, I guess, in Richmond.
He's back home. Taken for the strike. Franco at first base has 25 stolen bases, has been caught 5 times, so do some running. He's 9th in the league. There he goes. Up high, throw down by Hassey. Good throw, but better speed. Stolen base. Franco gets his 26th and puts himself in scoring position with 1 out.
Well, Bob Welch is really pretty easy to steal off of because he has pretty good rhythm. He has pretty good leg kick, pretty high. So it gives you time to run, and Franco took advantage of it because it was a good throw by Hassey.
Well, he's at second. There you see his numbers on the season. Now Incaviglia will try and bring him home. Boy, Will Incaviglia, as he's struggling, fouls it off. He's had 5 hits in his last 46 at-bats. He'd gone 0 for 16 before he got a home run Wednesday night. That's a 109 batting average over 16 games for Incaviglia.
But
Oakland up here 2-0 in the top of the second inning. 1 out.
Gary, I think one of the reasons you see more and more guys going like 1 for 28, 2 for 45, and those types of numbers is because of the way they hit now. A lot of guys use the thin handle bats and they're turning on the ball. Whereas in the past, you know, guys would fight the ball off every once in a while, go back through the middle with a level swing, and you'd bloop one in, or hit a soft line drive, you'd get a base hit.
Incaviglia can do plenty of that. That is the 101st strikeout of the season for Bob Welch, and there are now 2 down. Let's check in with John. John Saunders.
Pirates had a 1-run lead and had the Astros down with 2 out in the 9th. But Franklin Stubbs singles out to right field. Casey Candell comes in to score, and they are tied in the 9th inning, 2-2. Let's take it back to Gary and Joe as the Pirates try and keep their game-and-a-half lead in the East.
It's going to be one of those nights to remember in that race. Runner at second, 2 down, and Gino Petralli swings and misses. The Mets, if you missed it, came from behind in the 9th inning, down 3-1, and beat the Giants 4-3 in the 9th. And Pittsburgh, which has had a lead throughout in their game, now finds themselves tied. Could be one of those turning evenings in that Eastern Division race. Welch is in 0-2.
That's a good fork ball right there. You could see the ball start toward the middle of the plate and really dive toward the outside corner.
By the way, Incaviglia has now struck out 121 times.
I thought that 101 was a little light, Gary.
That one is hit towards center. McGee is there. He's got it. And that's the inning. No, the 101 is his, Joe. Bob Welch has 101 strikeouts this season.
ESPN Baseball Tonight, brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Irish Spring Deodorant Soap. The Irish never quit. By Cheerios, nutrition made simple. And by Busch Beer. Head for the mountains of Busch.
Oakland leading it 2-0. Ron Hassey will start it out. Walt Weiss has been put on the disabled list by the Oakland A's today. 15-day retroactive. Strike in by Jamie Moyer. He has a strained right side, some muscles bothering him, so they've put him on the DL, and they have called back Jennings, who has been up 3 times now. Doug Jennings. Nub to third. Kunkel. That'll retire Hassey. He's out of there. 1 down, bottom half of the second inning. Want to remind you this Sunday, and Joe Morgan's going to be there, the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox renewing that tremendous rivalry at Fenway Park, 8 o'clock Eastern on our Sunday night baseball game. John Miller and Joe Morgan for that one, as the Yankees came away with a victory. Boston came away with a 7-3 victory today over New York.
Looking forward to going to Fenway. I like that ballpark.
Great yard. Willie Randolph batting 8th in the order, followed by Gallego.
You know, Gary, you mentioned the fact that they put Walt Weiss on the DL and brought up Jennings. I think there's a little more behind that than what you see there. What that does is it gets Jennings back on the roster before September 1st. Now they have an extra hitter on that roster that they can decide on for the playoffs.
Exactly right.
I don't think they missed much around here.
No, they could have put Weiss on the DL last week.
Yes.
If they'd wanted to. Randolph doesn't like the call by Tim Cheetah, as he's 2 balls, 1 strike. They had to get people on by today in order to be eligible for the playoffs. So all your people on your 25-man roster, plus your people on the DL, are eligible to be active in the playoffs. 2-1. 3 balls, 1 strike. Willie Randolph, yet another one of the acquisitions. There's Gallego on deck. It's helped this team out. 3-1 is hit in the air to center. Pettis. And Moyer's got the first 2 outs here in the second inning. Talk about consistency, Joe. That's what makes this team a winner.
Well, that's what you want if you're going to be a championship type team. You don't want a lot of peaks and valleys. You know, months where you win 18 and lose 5 or something like that. You want just to be steady throughout the season. And that's what the Oakland A's have been.
81 wins, 6.5 game lead. Tony La Russa, he was all smiles today. I walked in and said congratulations, and he didn't have to ask what for. He knew what the deals meant to his ball club.
Well, if you think about the Oakland A's, though, they were a dominant team last year. They dominated, you know, everyone, the playoffs, the World Series, etc. They are still the best team, I think, in the American League. But they're not a dominant team anymore because they lost Dave Parker, they lost Tony Phillips, they lost Storm Davis. All of those guys were very key to that ball club last year. They took a little bit away, each one of those guys, so they still have a very fine ball club without those guys. But they were just not the dominant team that they were before. And now they've tried to get that back by adding Baines and McGee.
See, Gallego's getting the work at shortstop now with Weiss out of there, and that's one of the things, of course, La Russa's famous for, and that's working everybody into his lineup, in and out, rotate people. Gallego will play at short and at second base, give people a rest, and he hasn't been able to do that as much as he'd like. Good off-speed pitch by Moyer. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He says now with the acquisitions, that I'll be able to do a little more of that, and it doesn't mean we're going to rest people, and it doesn't mean we think we've won anything yet, but I'll be able to do what I'd like to do, and that's get people in and out of the lineup. 2 strikes, 2 balls, 2 down, 2-0 lead for the A's. Right through the middle. Cut off. Franco, no play. It'll be an infield single. Mike Gallego is hitting just 174 off the lefties. Gets the infield hit. Franco could not make the throw.
And Gallego, you know, had the game-winning hit yesterday in yesterday's ball game. And it was funny. He said all these other guys got 3 hits. They hit home runs, but all the newspaper guys are at my locker. So he said mine must have been the most important.
Timing is everything, right?
Yes, it is, and he was correct.
Ricky started it out with a double and scored. Batting .328, it's bounced. Gallego does not go as Gino Petrali chases it down. There's Gino, who's struggled with a foot problem all season. That's finally 100%, so his offensive game has improved and has really helped him out behind the plate. Bad right toe. Big toe is bothering him. Had to wear protective guards on it. 4 hits now for the A's off Moyer. There he goes at first. Throw by Petrali is not in time at the stolen base. Mike Gallego gets in scoring position. His 4th stolen base of the season.
Well, Gallego's been caught 5 times, even though he's stolen 4 bases, so he doesn't do this real well, but he had a good jump. I think he just took off when Moyer made his first move. He didn't decide whether he was coming to the plate or going to first. He just took off on his first movement, and he got a good jump.
Henderson with a chance for an RBI. Ricky's batting .281 with runners in scoring position this season. And Moyer misses down low to him and is behind on the count 3-0. There aren't many numbers that Ricky Henderson's not positive in. Leading the league in batting average and runs, stolen bases, on base percentage, 3rd in slugging percentage.
That's an MVP type year.
Sure is. And he draws the walk. So Henderson is 7th in walks, picks up his 78th of the season. John Saunders.
We showed you the Astros tying the game in the 9th, and they weren't done. Landrum to Glenn Wilson, sends it out towards right center field. Franklin Stubbs comes in to score. Pirates have lost 5 of 6. All 3 runs they've given up in the 9th inning. The Mets are now just a half game behind. Back to Gary and Joe.
It is one of those days.
Yeah, but the Pirates continue to hang in there. The Mets have caught them a couple of times before, but it's going to be right down to the end of the season before that race is decided.
Carney Lansford takes it down low. Lansford delivered an RBI, picking it up in the first inning off that single. Willie McGee has the other one. 2 down, 2 on. Strike in the outside corner. Next Wednesday we will be in Pittsburgh. In fact, ESPN will have the Pirates on a couple of times. On Labor Day, the 1:30 game on Monday will be Pittsburgh and the Phillies. And then on Wednesday, I'll be staying in Pittsburgh to do the Mets Pittsburgh game. It's a double header. We'll be doing one of those on Wednesday night. Fouled off. In fact, they're going to play the doubleheader starting at either 5 or 5:30. We will come on at 7:30 wherever it is. So you may see the end of the first game and you'll see all of the second, and you may get to see part of that first game next Wednesday night as well from Pittsburgh. 2-0 lead for the A's. Gallego at second base. Ricky Henderson at first. Lansford, right center field. Pettis not going to get there. That'll score 1 run. Henderson's on his way to third. And Carney Lansford's 2 for 2 and 2 RBIs. 3-0 A's.
The reason I said Carney Lansford would do well against Moyer is because he waits on the ball so well and he goes the other way. And anytime Moyer throws change-ups, Carney's going to be right there.
Valentine not happy.
It's a change-up and it's away, and you can see Carney Lansford keeps his head and shoulders right there, and he hits it in the right center field for a base hit. Gallego comes in to score. Henderson around to third.
Boy, he can do a job on left-handers. He's batting over .340 against the lefties. Carney Lansford is. Canseco takes one in the dirt. 5 hits off the left-hander Moyer. And Canseco will fly it out his first time up, batting at .286.
I don't think Moyer has a pitch to really handle Canseco with. His only chance is to hope Canseco misses the pitch like he did last time and pop it up.
Inside corner strike, 1-1.
Canseco thought the ball was high, but he doesn't have a good enough fastball to stay in under the hands of Canseco. And his changeup, because his fastball is not that fast, his changeup is not effective enough to get him way out in front. So he has to just hope that Canseco's timing is off a little bit.
1-1 to the big guy, and that's what you were talking about right there. He got him out in front of it.
Right. He will have a good cut at him. It's just a matter of whether Moyer makes a mistake in the zone. That's a changeup. You can see it moving down and away from Canseco.
Moyer has 2 outs here in the second inning. Gave up a 2-out single, a walk, and another single to Lansford. So the A's mounting a 2-out rally here in the second inning. 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Canseco's missed 25 games this season. There's Henderson, the lead runner, at third. Carney Lansford at first. And they are worried about just how that back's going to hold up.
Well, you have to be worried. Anytime a back is concerned, you know, you don't know exactly what's going to happen with it.
Towering pop-up.
He was right on it. He just missed it again.
Palmeiro, the first baseman, will put it away. Canseco would like to have those 2 swings back again. Another run in, 3-0 lead. Well, see if the Texas Rangers can get their offense going. They're down early here, 3-0, and give you a chance to take a look at Juan Gonzalez, just recalled from AAA to take Harold Bain's place on the roster of the Texas Rangers. Gonzalez had some time at the end of last season with the Rangers, and now back again here for the end of this season. He is one of their prospects, an outfielder who Bobby Valentine says will play some outfield and will work as a DH. Led the American Association with 29 home runs and 101 RBIs. 2-0 pitch to him. Off speed by Welch. 20 years old, so this is a young ball player.
Yeah, but he's got a big swing. I know that for 20 years old. But that's why he hit the 29 home runs. But it's also why he hit 258.
And tips that one foul. You talk about the long swing, Joe.
Yeah.
You watch him. He's got one of those that you can almost put a stopwatch on.
Yeah. If you have a long swing, it's fine if you can make contact at the right point. But the longer your swing is, the more chances you have of being fooled and more chance you have of missing the ball.
2-2. Turns on that one so much he almost hits it directly backwards.
But he also showed that the ball jumps off his bat right there. So if he makes contact, I can see how he hit the 29 home runs. The ball will jump off his bat. He's got good, strong hands.
There is a sound, isn't there?
Yes, there's a special sound to the baseball when certain guys make contact.
All right, you could hear it on that foul ball. Welch has given up some dingers. 21 home runs. Got around on it again. This one may be playable. Lansford and Hasse over, and yes, indeed. Johnny Lansford puts it away. Gonzalez retired. One away in the third. Welch has given up the one single to Franco in the second. Has walked none and struck out one. That's why that big foul territory here at Oakland really helps the pitcher.
And it really hurts even a guy like Ricky Henderson, who's going for the batting championship, because the foul ball here a lot of times is caught, where in another ballpark it's out of play and you get another swing.
Kunkel starting at third base. Drills it to left field. Ricky Henderson back. The crowd's up. Goodbye. Home run. Kunkel. And it's a 3-1 A's lead. Did he sting that?
Yeah. Kunkel came in hitting 177.
Fans applaud as the bleacherettes throw the ball back out.
And there's some little kid up there who would love to have that baseball.
That's only his third home run of the year.
It's a fastball that's right in the middle of everything. The middle of the plate, the middle of his body, and when he finishes with it, it's in the middle of the seats there in left field. Nice swing, actually, by Kunkel.
So yet another home run off Bob Welch this season. Welch gave up only 13 home runs all of last year and already is up to 22 this year, but most of them have been just like that, solo home runs. And with one away, Pettis, the leadoff batter, with the bases empty. 3-1 ball game, only the second hit for the Rangers. Texas is not a home run hitting team. That's only their 89th team home run. It's a little surprising with their lineup.
Well, it is. It's because the ball carries pretty well in Texas, also.
Count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. That one drilled to left field. Ricky Henderson backing up, warning track, makes the catch.
It'll seem strange, but he had that all the way. I could tell the way he went after it. He knew he was going to catch it. He did not put on a burst of speed to get back there or anything. He knew he was going to catch it.
How good an outfielder is Ricky?
Look, right there, he's under control right there, Gary, all the way. See, he didn't show any panic. He's going back on the ball, keeps his eyes on it all the way, and makes the catch.
Do we give him enough credit for his defense?
I don't think so. He's a very confident outfielder. Has a lot of confidence in his ability. Look, see?
Had it all the way.
Yeah.
Strike called as Welch gets it in off Jeff Houston.
I told him that, Ricky.
He probably heard you. He's probably got a little earpiece in out there. 3-1 A's lead, and it's fouled off by Houston. Lined out his first time up. The football season is here. CFA football action on ESPN. Texas A&M and Hawaii 4 p.m. Baylor, Nebraska at 7:30. Starts right here on ESPN tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Southwest Conference contender Texas A&M. And it's back with a vengeance. Just missed outside with it. Ball 2 strikes. Houston, one of the Ranger players off today and for tomorrow. Long term, they're looking for work from him. Gallego. So 1 run on 1 hit. The home run by Kunkel gets Texas on the board, 3-1. The old bad vibes are back in Toronto. 3-1 here, Oakland leading Texas, and all that talk you hear in Toronto at the end of seemingly every season is back again. McGuire takes the pitch inside. Everybody pointing fingers at everybody else.
Well, it's unusual because they do have a lot of talent there in Toronto.
McGuire batting .219. Picked up the double, was stranded. A's have left 3 on in the first 2 innings. And Jamie Moyer bounces another one. Moyer's tough on his catches. He'll put some down there off the plate to come up and catch in the body.
Well, he has to keep the ball down to be effective. And you're better off bouncing it than you are hanging it to these big guys.
McGuire up high to him, 3 balls and no strikes. McGuire's double, only the 10th he's had this season.
Well, if he gets the ball, hits the ball hard, he goes out of the ballpark.
That's what happens. He has no triples, 10 doubles, and then the 33 home runs. And he also has a ton of walks. That's his 84th. He's 3rd in the league in walks. Second walk given up by Moyer. Leadoff man on for the A's. Willie McGee, second at bat in the A's uniform. Picked up an RBI his first time up on the ground ball out. Be in the seat, strike 1. In McGee, they get a veteran who has been to the All-Star game 4 times. Let me check that. 3 times. And has been in league championship games 3 times. World Series 3 times.
Stuck on 3.
He's been around the action. Center field. Pettis. I was right the first time. McGee has been to 4 All-Star games. McGuire back to first base.
Did I ever tell you my Gary Pettis story?
No.
Gary Pettis, he was a young kid with my youngest sister. And he used to come by the house, my mother's house, and I would go there at the end of baseball season. He was there one day, and he said, my sister introduced me to him, and he said, I'm going to be in the big leagues one of these days playing against you. And I you know how many times you've heard kids say that, and I said, well, good luck, and hope to see you there one of these days. And he came up to me my final year in the big leagues and reminded me of that when he was with the California Angels.
How old was he back then?
I can't remember, but he was probably about 15, 14 years old. And then I got mad at him because I hit a line drive in the right center field, and he was in left center, and he went and caught it.
And reminded you about that.
Right.
Every chance he has. Runner at first. A's leading at 3-1. 1 down. Steinbach batting .241. Takes the pitch outside. Steinbach with his 6-game hit streak. Now 7 for 23 during the streak. And he is the designated hitter tonight. Tony La Russa. And that's a liner that's going to fall in front of Incaviglia. Base hit for Steinbach, so make it a 7-game hit streak. 6 hits now off Jamie Moyer. Runners at first and second, and 1 out. McGuire goes down to second base. Steinbach at first. McGuire, with that 84th walk, now has equaled his career best in walks.
You see that Steinbach stays back pretty well on the ball. There's an off-speed pitch, and he lined it in front of Incaviglia. Nothing Incaviglia could do with that. It was hit too hard, and it was sinking.
Well, let's see what Hasse can do. Moyer's already given up 3 runs, but it could be much worse than that. People on base. That one's drilled to right. Sierra. McGuire will go back to second base, and there are 2 down. Moyer's living a very dangerous life out there right now for Texas. Hasse wondering what I got to do to get a base hit. Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. Will it be the home of a football team? We'll see. It's the home of the world champion Oakland A's. They've got the 3-1 lead here. And Bobby Valentine is on his way out again. Greg McMurtry has been up 3 times in the bullpen, and I think Bobby may have seen enough the way this ball is getting hammered.
Yeah, I think Bobby wants to, live another day. This has to be a lot of stress.
So Craig McMurtry will come on in relief, and all Jamie Moyer can do is shake his head. He's out of there. Tough season for Moyer. Comes in 1-5, works 2 2/3 innings, 3 runs so far, 6 hits, no strikeouts, and a couple of walks. Is McMurtry.
Yeah, Craig McMurtry started his career with Atlanta Braves. He was a starter then, had a real good sinker ball, and then he had arm problems, and his sinker straightened out a little bit, and he struggled a little bit, been more of a, middle relief, long relief man since that time.
He's had a strange season. This is the first time he's appeared in relief since July 29. And the breaking ball is in to Willie Randolph. Randolph flying out his first time up. McMurtry's last 2 appearances have been as a starter. He's pitched 9 2/3 innings since July 22nd. Not a lot of work. 2 down, 2 on to third. Good backhand, Kunkel. Long throw, and he got him at first base. That saved a couple of runs right there, and 2 more left on. That's Jeff Kunkel, who started the last 7 games at third base. Steve Buechele out of there with a strained muscle. Pretty good move.
Well, he makes a nice play. I don't know why he didn't tag third. As they say in billiards, don't ever pass up a pocket. He makes the long throw, and he throws it on the inside.
And there's a base hit as the Rangers, who are trailing here by a score of 3-1, get a leadoff single from Rafael Palmeiro. So Palmeiro's on at first base. Bob Welch giving up just the 3rd hit, 2 singles, and the home run by Kunkel as we go to the top of the 4th.
That's a fastball right in the middle of the plate, and he lines it to right field. Every once in a while, he makes a mistake right in the middle of the plate. I mean, up and in the middle, belt high, middle of the plate, and most hitters can hit that pitch.
Well, the leadoff man is on base now. The A's have already stranded 5. They've had the leadoff man in 2 of the 3 innings that they've been up. And for the Rangers, it's the first leadoff man that they've gotten on against Bob Welch. And it's taken outside by Sierra. Ball 1. What was that billiard saying? Don't pass
up a pocket. Meaning don't pass up a base. When you go behind second, you flip to second for the force out.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I hadn't heard that before, Joe. Just wanted to get that down. Swung on and missed. That's a user. I mean, I can copy that from you, and it's like Milton Berle's book of jokes. Pick all these great baseball sayings.
When the shortstop would go in the hole, I was playing second, man on first. I'd say, "Come here, I got you here, I got you here." Don't pass up the pocket. That's the short pocket. Take it.
Folks, if you hadn't been listening tonight, you would not have learned this. The 1-1 is outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Happy to have you with us wherever you may be on this Friday night for the second half of our doubleheader. Lots of finals in. John Saunders back at our ESPN Baseball Tonight studios will be keeping us posted on those finals and the other games still being played. Welch in and low, 2-2.
Ruben Sierra had a fantastic year last year. This is a changeup from Welch. You can see the forkball goes straight down. Sierra's off balance. 2 things happen with a forkball or a curveball. They can either fool you with the speed, which is a changeup, or with the break of the ball or the movement.
Got him to chase it. Welch gets his 2nd strikeout, and Sierra goes down swinging, and now he's having a word with home plate umpire Tim Cheetah. He's not talking. Well, I'm not sure. Is he talking about the last pitch or the one before?
I don't know. I think he was asking him what kind of pitch it was, or was it off the plate? So that's the fork ball. You can see it go away from Sierra, and he is fooled completely. He ends up swinging with just 1 arm out there trying to get a piece of it. And I think he wanted to know from Tim Cheetah whether the ball was over the plate or not.
Sierra's gone, the switch hitter. 69 times he has struck out this season. He's a good contact hitter. And here's Franco. 301 average as he picked up a hit his first time up, but was stranded, the only base runner left on by the Rangers.
An interesting comment you made. You said, 69, he's a contact hitter. That's in comparison to Incavilla.
Yes.
But 69 is still a lot of strikeouts for a pretty good hitter. Because, you should strike out, at least less than 1 every 10 at bats. And 69, of course, is more than 1 every 10 at bats. But he is a good hitter.
Good point. No, that's a good point, Joe, because we really 0-1 delivery is swung on and drilled. That's a base hit. Franco's 2 for 2. He sure can. And a ball gets by Ricky Henderson. Palmeiro's rounding third. He's coming to the plate. Throw all the way to third base and an Henderson error. And the Rangers make it a 3-2 ball game.
And we just finished talking about how underrated he is as an outfielder. Here's a pitch. It's a fastball, and again, it's in the middle of the plate. Franco turns on it. Ricky's there. See if it takes a bad hop. Well, it hits off the heel of his glove. He was actually in front of it, but it hit the heel of his glove and bounced away. By the time he got it back in, Palmeiro had scored.
Only the 4th error on Ricky Henderson, but a big one. Welch's delivery is hit by Incaviglia to center. McGee staying at second base is Franco. Credit Franco with a single, no RBI on it. Welch has 2 down now with a runner at second base. Labor Day wherever you are. Hope you'll join us. There'll be lots of baseball. 1:30 Philadelphia Pittsburgh kicking it off. Oakland and Boston. Is that the playoff series? 7:30. Then San Francisco and San Diego at 10:30, or you'll see regional coverage games. It's right here Monday. Jays, Tigers, Royals, White Sox, and Astros, Dodgers will be the regional games, as well as those 3 right there on our triple header on Labor Day. 2 down, a runner at second base. Strike on the outside corner to Gino Petralli. Please, if you're traveling, be careful. Over 500 people are expected to be killed in automobile accidents over this Labor Day weekend. Don't drink and drive. Wear the seatbelt. 3-2 lead for the A's. And this is down low, 1-1. Two down. The 1-1 to Petralli is outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Gino trying to get the tying run home here. That's Franco. Welch works the breaking ball and misses. 3-1.
Well, you can see that he wants to get Petralli out with the curveball, because he continues to throw it even though he was behind the count. He does not want to give Petralli a fastball.
Gonzalez will be up if Petralli gets on, and he does. First walk given up by Bob Welch, and runners at first and second and 2 away.
Well, he decided that he was not going to give in to the left-handed hitter, with the right-handed hitting Juan Gonzalez coming up after him, and also with him being a rookie. When I say a rookie, Gonzalez. So much this season, I don't know if he had enough at bats last year.
Nope, he's a rookie.
Okay, well, this is his first start here this season, so he doesn't want to let Petralli hurt him.
Played 24 games last year. Hit 156 for 60 in those ball games. And Gonzalez just back today. With Baines going over. Baines did play. He's not in the lineup for the A's tonight. He went 1 for 4 and had a walk for the A's yesterday. And a pop up again, a silo shot for Hassett. And that'll do it. 1 run in. It'll be an unearned run. 1-run game. Bob Welch going after his 22nd win of the year. Has the lead here 3-2, but the Rangers have come back from that 3-0 deficit. Kunkel's delivered his 3rd home run of the season. The other an unearned run in that last inning. For the A's, a 3-run, 2-run first inning with Lansford and McGee getting the RBIs. And then Lansford got another RBI in the 2nd inning. Carney's gone 2 for 2 off Moyer. This is Craig McMurtry now, who is on in relief. Moyer's final line, 2 2/3, 3 runs earned, 6 hits. 2 walks and no strikeouts. McMurtry ready to go against Gallego. Sierra charging. Gallegos 1 for 2, 1 away in the 4th.
Sierra had a lot of defensive problems earlier in the year, And, you know, a lot of games were losses were attributed to defensive lapses by the Texas Rangers. And, you know, Sierra wasn't the only culprit, but that was one of the problems they had during the poor stretch of the season. They were not playing well defensively.
Bad numbers, Joe. They're next to last in club fielding percentage in the league, and that results in a lot of unearned runs.
Yep.
Milwaukee's given up more unearned runs than anyone. They're last in defense. Ricky Henderson doubled and scored in the first, has been on twice, so the on-base percentage, which was .436, has jumped a couple of points, the best in the league. .328 average leading it. McMurtry with another breaking ball to him. 1 ball, 1 strike.
McMurtry is throwing a very good curveball, hard curveball tonight. And as I mentioned, he has a good sinker as well. He has a lot of good tools. Good curve.
Looks like that's all he's going to show him there.
Well, now you got him set up. See, that's what a great curveball will do. This curveball, watch Ricky kind of lock in there. Nothing he can do with it. You see, he's got him set up for a good sinker inside now if he wants, or he can go back away with a curveball. If you have one outstanding pitch, it sets up the other one very well.
1-2 the count.
And he tried to get in.
Incaviglia. Oh my gosh. There's a ball that's got to be caught. It's a single for Henderson, who's 2 for 2 and on base all 3 times up. But Incaviglia is having trouble picking that ball up in left field. Coming off the bat.
Well, Palmeiro at first base is probably yelling. He was yelling in when he first hit it. Rookie takes a big swing right there. And I think Incaviglia thought the ball was going to go farther than it did. He probably broke back a little bit, and by the time he got in, he couldn't make the catch. McMurtry pitched him very well. He had him set up for the fastball in, and he jammed him, but Ricky got enough of it to get it over the infield.
So Henderson is on for the 3rd time. Hit number 7 for the A's, Carney Lansford. McMurtry a long look. Henderson's running. Balk.
No.
Timeout.
Carney Lansford called timeout. What was happening there was McMurtry was trying to hold the ball to freeze Ricky Henderson at first base. See, a lot of pitchers believe that the longer you hold the ball, the less chance of the runner taking off because he gets tense there. See, Ricky was rocking. Ricky was very relaxed, so it wasn't bothering him. See, McMurtry's just standing there, and he's trying to freeze Ricky.
Carney Lansford was upset with himself for calling the timeout after he realized Henderson was down to second base. Tim Cheetah, the home plate umpire, was on it. Lansford's already 2 for 2, upping his average to .280 with the 2 singles. Now McMurtry knows Henderson was going the first time, so he's going to hold him close. 52 stolen bases for Ricky Henderson as the chase is on. 923 steals. Brock with 938, the all-time leader.
What McMurtry did there to keep Ricky from stealing was called a slide step. He just did not pick up his leg. And you can call a balk for that because, first of all, you're not supposed to change your motion all these different times when the runner's on first base because you're not supposed to deceive the runner. And I think Valentine's going out and saying, hey, the guy's going to steal the base. There's nothing you can do about it, but don't get behind the guy at the plate. So when he does steal it, you're pitching from behind with a runner in scoring position. So he's saying do not let Ricky Henderson distract you from the hitter. That's one of the great things that a base stealer does. He takes a little bit of the concentration away from the pitcher, and therefore he can't give 100% to the hitter.
So Henderson talking to Dave McKay. You see what Lansford has done already tonight. McMurtry. Henderson takes a little bigger lead but doesn't go. And the count's 2 balls and no strikes now on Lansford.
McMurtry held the ball just about perfectly there. He held it just long enough. Ricky was going, and Ricky actually made a false step because he thought he had him timed. But McMurtry held it just a little longer.
That means you got a good lead.
This is kind of the game, you know, within the game because McMurtry is holding the ball long enough to see Ricky diving back safely. All right, the longer he holds the ball, the more Ricky wants to lean toward second base. And then he made a quick move over there, and that's why it was close. Again.
He's working McMurtry right now and vice versa.
Well, McMurtry has a quick move to first base, so right there you see he gets the ball over there very quickly, and he gets it low where Palmeiro can just drop the tag on Ricky diving back in. You do not want to throw the ball up above the waist on a pickoff attempt.
2-0 the count. And him dead to right. Tagged out by Franco. So McMurtry wins the battle. And I guess you got to call that a stolen base, because he took off for caught stealing because he took off for second. But look how long it took him to take off.
Well, I don't laugh at Ricky's misfortune there. I laugh because it was a very interesting confrontation. That's what baseball's all about. McMurtry won this particular attempt, but you know, Ricky Henderson wins most of them.
And Lansford to second base. Franco's up with it. Gets it over. Nice job by McMurtry. The one single by Ricky Henderson, but he faces only 3. First pitch fouled back by Kunkel, and he's checking to see if he broke the bat on that delivery by Bob Welch, and apparently he did, so he'll go get the new bat. Kunkel in the 3rd inning.
He didn't break his bat there. That's a home run. That was his 3rd home run of the season. Now that bat is broken.
That'll make you mad if you're a hitter, won't it?
Well, Welch says I got even a little bit anyway. I broke his game bat. Really, you hate like anything to break your game bat. You find a bat that feels good, and obviously that felt pretty good. He hit a home run with it, and then the guy breaks it. At least you want it to die like a good soldier and go over the infield for a base hit. You don't want it to pop up foul into the stands.
How many bats did you keep for batting practice when you played?
You know, I can't remember. I didn't break a lot of bats. I just used like I had 1 bat for batting practice, and the rest of them I kind of used for the game.
And Bob Welch missing with that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kunkel, 18 career home runs with the 3rd of the season that he picked up here tonight. 3 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the A's. 2-4-0 for the Rangers. Good off-speed pitch by Bob Welch, and you see Charlie Lau's theory right there as Kunkel gives it the big helicopter finish.
I remember reading, you were talking about bats. I remember Ted Williams reading that, you know, you get a dozen bats, you order them by the dozen, you get a dozen bats, maybe 3 of them were perfect for him, and the other 9 he just kind of used for batting practice.
And no swing on that one, says Joe Brinkman. And nowadays, Joe, I think most players say you don't even get 3 out of a dozen. If you get 1.
You can see that he did check his swing, at least I thought so. And so did Joe Brinkman.
2-2. Stays there. ESPN's Baseball Tonight continues on Tuesday, a doubleheader. These Oakland A's and the Red Sox. You know they're thinking about postseason, or you'll see Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Tuesday, 7:30. That's the first game. Second one, the Giants trying desperately to hang in against the San Diego Padres as the Giants chase down the Reds. Or you'll see Houston, LA, Tuesday at 10:30, our doubleheader. Bob Welch misses down low, and the count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Kunkel. Pettis, the leadoff batter, due next. Laid it in and clearly had him fooled. He guessed wrong. That is the 3rd strikeout for Welch in the game. 1 away. John Saunders.
White Sox and the Angels. White Sox still chasing the A's back 6.5 games. Ozzie Guillen pulls it out to right field. Dave Winfield double clutches. His 1 run comes in, and the double clutch may have cost him the 2nd run. Fletcher scores as well. 3-0, but it's now 3-1. Back to Gary and Joe.
Sandy Alderson said before today's game, the manager, GM, baseball operations for the A's, there's nobody going to give us anything for the next 30 days. And anyone who thinks we've already won this, not so. Chicago tends to chase this down to the end. Gary Pettis with 1 down, nobody on. He's taken the 0 for 2. Just 2 for his last 20. Lansford in at 3rd, and there's the base hit right by Carty Lansford. On his way to second base, Ricky Henderson up the throw coming in. Randolph not in time.
And that's what speed will do for you. Ricky Henderson had him played correctly, but Gary Pettis' speed he runs this into a double. That's what speed does for you right there as well. With Carty Lansford playing in for the bunt, he has no range, no chance to catch this ball. Ricky Henderson fires to second, a little bit offline, but even if it's on line, Pettis is safe with a double.
For Pettis, that will be double number 14. He represents the potential tying run now with one away, and the Rangers threatening to get this thing tied up. Jeff Houston. Lansford again just off the cut of the grass at third base. Houston batting .249. Welch working him outside inside, misses on that one. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Bob really wanted that pitch. He's a little bit upset that Tim Cheetah didn't give it to him. He thought he hit the inside corner with the fastball. And what a difference one pitch makes. 0-2 or 1-1.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Absolutely. Pickoff. There you go, moving in, but Kunkel's back.
Actually, they just wanted to keep Pettis honest there. They didn't want. The pickoff is, you know, you don't really expect to pick Gary Pettis off in this situation, but you want to keep him from timing the pitcher and breaking for third. That's all you're trying to do when you have a guy like Pettis at second base.
There you go, staying as close as he can to Pettis. Inside corner strike, not liked by Jeff Houston, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. 1 down, runner at second base. This is where the Rangers have struggled mightily. They have not been able to deliver that big hit. Runners in scoring position, it has been a disastrous time for them. Look at those numbers over the last 7 games.
Ooh. You're not going to win very many ball games unless your pitchers are pitching shutouts.
It surprises me to go along with that number is that they are still 28 and 18 in 1-run games.
Well, it means their pitchers are doing a great job and they're manufacturing a run some kind of way. We were stealing a base, moving them along by hitting behind the runner.
Houston fighting off the inside pitch. Remains a ball and 2 strikes, 1 down. For Jeff Houston this season in that category with runners in scoring position, he's batting .271. He has one of the better numbers. One-two again by Welch. Reached for it. Bobby Valentine is behind home plate.
That's illegal.
He's not supposed to be there.
No.
Directly behind home plate.
Yeah, he's not supposed to be there. And I'm surprised La Russa hadn't seen him and had the umpire run him away.
Tony probably hasn't found him there yet. Here's the 1-2 again, and for the 3rd time Houston fights it off. Now what's he watching for? There's Tony in the dugout, and here comes Dave Duncan. Pitching coach is going around behind the back of the screen.
No, that's Merv.
Oh, that's Merv Rettenman.
Yeah, that's Rettenman.
Yeah. Not Duncan. That's Rettenman. I guess he's not going after Valentine.
Well, he may be.
Got him. 3 times in a row. Welch stayed outside on him, and that's 4 strikeouts now for Bob Welch, and there are 2 down.
Now batting first baseman Rafael Palmeiro.
Well, he kept going inside and outside. He came in a couple of times. Now he goes away, and Houston just finally chases that one off the plate.
Welch with 4 strikeouts in the game, 104 on the season, 2 down. Pettis remains at second base, and here's Palmeiro. Palmeiro has done a good job of getting people in this season. He's batting .311 with runners in scoring position on the year. You see what he's done on the road. Welch stays away. 1 ball, 1 strike. 3-2 ball game. The A's leading the Rangers. Here in the top half of the 5th inning, Gary Thorne and Joe Morgan.
And Bobby Valentine behind the plate.
As a fan. Didn't like the dugout. 1-1. Off Welch's leg. No play for Lansford. It'll be an infield single. Holding at third is Pettis.
And Ricky Henderson doesn't like that.
Ow.
It's a ground ball back through the middle. Welch is there. He's down in front of it, but it looks like it hits him off the leg and bounds over to Carney Lansford. No play.
That's 2 hits now for Palmeiro. He's 2 for 3.
Right fielder Ruben Sierra.
He's on at first base with Pettis at third and Ruben Sierra. 6 hits for the Rangers. Now Bobby Valentine's back in the dugout. Nobody came over to talk to him. He stood there for a while, saw what he wanted to see, and hit it back. Fastball by Bob Welch misses. Another key point in the game as the Rangers left a couple on in the 4th. Now they've got 2 on here in the 5th.
Well, they've got the guy up there they want in this situation.
1-1.
So that's what pitchers do to your mind. Sierra's a good fastball hitter, but last time Welch got him out with 2 fork balls away, and he's looking for one right there, and so he takes a fastball for a strike.
Sierra's 3 for 16 lifetime against Bob Welch, but 2 of the 3 hits have been home runs.
As one infamous hitter once told me, why look for something I can't hit? If you're a fastball hitter, look for the fastball until you get 2 strikes.
2 ball, 1 strike count as Welch leans him away. Bob Welch has been the benefactor of a lot of Oakland runs this season. Almost 6 runs in games that he starts have been scored for him. That's 4th best. That'll help you win 21 games. Gets it even, 2-2.
Now he chases the fastball.
Rangers have never beaten Bob Welch. He's 3-0 lifetime against them.
This is a high fastball. You can see it's way up out of the strike zone, and Sierra goes after it. Now he probably will get the split finger that he's been thinking about, or the fork ball. The Oakland staff calls it a fork ball. Some other teams call it a split finger, but Oakland guys hold their fingers a little wider apart. Nope, the fastball away again.
Holds the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's a real battle right here between Welch and a very good clutch hitter and Ruben Sierra. He's only 24 years old. Seems like he should be older than that for the games he's played.
You know, I thought he had a good enough year last year to be the most valuable player in the American League. Of course, Robin Yount won, but Sierra had some big numbers.
That one towards second base, and Willie Randall. And Bob Welch gets out of the inning, and again, chance to tie it for Texas, but they couldn't do it. Gary Thorne, Joe Morgan back here with you, and pretty good pitchers duel has ended up with Moyer out of there and McMurtry in now against Bob Welch.
Well, Bob Welch has been strong throughout the ball game. Ricky Henderson made an error for an unearned run. Craig McMurtry has come on, and he stabilized the pitching staff for the Texas Rangers. So good addition. I thought it was perfect because if you bring a right-hander in, it's going to be against a complete right-handed lineup for the Oakland A's.
You get the sense the Rangers are just that close to getting this thing tied up. It was a 3-0 lead. As you see, the A's 2 in the first, 1 in the second, but Rangers have answered and then have lost opportunities in the last 2 innings to either tie it up or go ahead. Jose Canseco, a .285 batting average as he stands in the bottom of the 5th. McMurtry's fastball is inside.
We talked about Moyer not having any pitches that could really bother Canseco. I think McMurtry does. He has a good fastball. He can come inside with it as he did there, and he has a real sharp breaking curveball, so he has the tools to handle Canseco with. Doesn't mean he will, but he has the tools to do so.
Misses outside with it, 2 balls and no strikes. Jose has started to talk about potential surgery on that back of his for after the season. That's how much it's bothering him. Fouls it back. Canseco's a very hard worker. He will come out and take a lot of extra batting practice. He's not doing that. In fact, he's not even taking regular batting practice in the cage because the back hurts him so much. He's trying not to swing any more than he has to.
Well, when you have a back problem, you know, it's a daily exercise. You do a lot of exercises every day, but then when you get to the ballpark, it depends on how it feels, how much you can let go. He seems to be able to swing the bat hard, but I think he just lacks a little bat speed that is just causing his timing to be off just a little bit, just enough that he's popping up and, you know, making a few outs.
2-ball, 1-strike count on him. Oof. That'll hurt you back.
Yeah, but that was a good pitch by McMurtry. That ball just disappeared. It was right there in the hitting zone, and the bottom fell out of it. Canseco swung over the top of it. Watch this ball. See, it's right there. All of a sudden, it goes straight down. You see the catcher kind of reach for it because the ball sunk so much.
McMurtry gets the count even. 2 balls, 2 strikes. McGuire and McGee to follow Canseco. Kunkel. There's that timing Joe was talking about.
Yeah, it's just off a little bit, but you know, and it's tough because I understand the situation he's going through. You got to remember, he was hitting over 300, high 300s before he started having problems. He was hitting 300, hitting a lot of home runs, driving in a lot of runs. Now he's struggling.
Canseco out of there, 1 down in the 5th inning. Mark McGuire has been on twice. That walk, a new career high for him as he picked up his 84th free pass of the season. Came off the starter Moyer. McMurtry up high to him.
You know, yesterday Canseco was booed when he struck out with a couple of runners on base. So, you know, the fans are getting a little restless too. I'm sorry to say that like that, but that was an curveball. Very good one.
Bend at the knees and freeze. 1-1. Off the end of the bat, center field base hit. That's not a power hitter's single, but it'll show the same thing tomorrow. And for McGuire, 2 for 2 and a walk, so he's been on 3 times. And with 1 away, McGuire picks up hit number 8 for the A's. Dave McKay, the first base coach, with him as Murtry checking with his infielders on coverage at second base.
Willie McGee.
And that will bring up Willie McGee. Switch hitter. We've seen him both ways tonight. He swings around and takes the pitch down low for a ball.
You know, when you come over to a team in the middle of the season, there are a lot of adjustments to be made. First, your teammates and getting to know them, and second is getting to know the signs and getting to know exactly.
Right back to McMurtry. There's one. Relay by Jeff Houston, and it's a double play. So McMurtry gets out of the innings. No run, a base hit, only 3 faced. Still a 1-run ball game. Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, where the Oakland fans keeping an eye on a 1-run ball game. And the Rangers will try again, get this thing tied up, having left 4 on in the last 2 innings, 5 in the game. Franco will lead it off. 2 singles for Julio Franco's moved him over the 300 mark, batting .302, and Welch is in for the strike. Franco against Welch tears him up. 12 hits, 23 at-bats off Bob Welch's lifetime. 500 hitter off him. High strike called, 0-2.
That's a good changeup. The motion fooled him. It was a changeup. It was up in the strike zone, but the speed fooled Franco. You see, Franco's a good enough hitter that he doesn't mind hitting with 2 strikes. He'll cut down on his swing and hit the ball to right field. So it doesn't really bother him as much to hit with 2 strikes as some of the sluggers. See, he'll take a shot to right field when he gets behind in the count.
Protect that plate. Jamie Moyer started for the Rangers, went 2 2/3, charged with 3 runs on 6 hits. Bob Welch has gone the distance for the A's after victory number 22. He has struck out 4, walked 1, given up the home run to Kunkel in the 3rd inning. And the breaking ball's away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. RBIs have gone 2 to Lansford and 1 for McGee for Oakland. Breaking ball to short. There you go. And Franco's gone. 1 away in the 6th. Bobby Valentine's ball club. They made a run. You see their record since June 7th. It is the best in the American League, and only the Mets have a better record since that time in Major League Baseball. but it looks like too little. Too late.
Definitely too late.
Against an Oakland team that just doesn't give you any room. You just see Oakland second in that time period. It's fouled back by Incaviglia.
I think what you see with Incaviglia facing Bob Welch is that Welch has two pitches that he can overpower Incaviglia with. The high fastball, he's swung at it a couple of times now, and the fork ball. Either one of those pitches will be effective with Incaviglia. Right there.
Yeah.
Well, the high one, he'll swing at it, and he's up and out of the strike zone, and that one he'll chase it. Well, see, and that bears out what I'm saying. He's 0 for 11 against Welch because he doesn't have. Welch has two pitches that he can get him out with. You know, a lot of times you may have one pitch that you can get a hitter out with. If the guy can handle your fastball, you have to go to the other off-speed pitch. But I don't think he can handle either of Welch's pitches, the fastball or the forkball. Right
That's
there.
it. He's gone.
Yeah.
Second time Welch has struck him out. Once swinging, once called. Incaviglia, who struck out 136 times last year, fourth most, is on his way to do it again. That's 122 Ks.
And unless Welch makes a mistake, Welch will get him out every time he faces him almost as easily. But if he makes a mistake in the middle of the plate, Incaviglia will hit him maybe into the next counting.
5 strikeouts now for Bob Welch. 2 down, nobody on for Gino Petralli. Batting .257. Breaking ball in for a strike. Welch does not rely on the strikeout. He'll let you hit the ball.
Well, he keeps you off balance. See that big curveball right there, and then the high fastball and the forkball. It just keeps you off balance right there. That he's off balance.
Randolph. Nice play. Willie Randolph on the shortstop side of second base helps out his pitcher. Open up by 1. Why do you acquire someone like Willie Randolph standing there at the end of the dugout? You acquire him because he's a veteran who can do things like this.
Well, who says Willie Randolph is getting old? This is a fine play. I don't know many 20-year-olds that could make a play as well as that, as he does right here. Great play by Willie Randolph.
He's the kind of guy who helps you out in the clutch.
Yeah, he's also, you know, a stabilizing influence in the clubhouse. He's, like you said, he's a veteran, and he knows how to play the game.
And we're going to see another veteran. Interesting move being made by Tony La Russa as Steinbach, who continued his hit streak at 7 games with a single in the 3rd inning, is now going to have Harold Baines pinch hit for him. So here's the other acquisition. Harold Baines, 31 years old, played yesterday for the A's and now faces the teammate that 2 days ago he was playing for when they were in California against the Angels. Baines, .288 lifetime hitter, fouls that one off, a long chase, and it'll end up in the seats as Kunkel goes running over. Harold Baines will primarily be a DH. He's having a good season offensively. The average at .289. He has appeared in 4 All-Star games, was in the League Championship Series when Chicago played Baltimore in 1983. Inside to him by McMurtry. He's also got his old number back, number 3. He didn't have that number on yesterday. That's the number he's worn for his career, and so he got it back today. See the shift they've put on him. They've total pull hitter.
Well, that's unusual because Harold Baines can go the other way. I didn't know he was that much of a pull hitter.
Takes it down low, 3 balls and 1 strike.
When I played against him, I didn't play him to pull that much. There you see Davey Lopes giving instructions to the outfield.
Draws the walk, and that's something else Harold Baines can do a lot of. McMurtry's first walk, leadoff man's on for the A's. Let's check in with John Saunders.
A's leading in the West, Red Sox with the lead in the East, and Luis Rivera helps that lead tonight. This is a grand slam. Shortstop with 5 runs batted in as the Red Sox cruise to their 8th victory in a row. 6.5 in front of the Jays. Let's go back to Gary and Joe.
74 wins now for the Boston Red Sox here in Oakland. The A's are leading at 3-2. Runner at first base is Baines. Bad wheels. They won't hold him in the bag. And Hasse, the left-hander, takes it away. Ball 1. looking for the double play right here. Bullpen's up again. Melke's up this time. Hasse, 1-1. Hasse stung one to right field his last time up. Line drive right to Sierra. Ron batting .215.
This is a situation where it really kind of shows you how the game has changed, Gary. With the runner at first and the left-handed hitter up before, you try to throw the sinker down in a way to get him to hit a ground ball either second or short for a double play. Now you see them throwing change-ups and curveballs, which lets him pull the ball, and he's got a hole over at first base. So it's kind of like, are you pitching to get the hitter out, or are you pitching to keep him from taking advantage of what you've already given up?
There goes the runner. Swung on and missed. Throw by Petrale. Plenty of time. He's gone. Harold Baines is thrown out by Gino Petrale. Petrale's thrown out 8 of the last 9 who tried to steal against him, and he gets his former teammate.
You can see they were not holding Baines on. It was probably a hit and run. Hasse misses it, but Petrale doesn't miss Baines going down the second. Nice throw by Petrale.
And Hasse fouls off the 2-2 pitch, so 1 down, nobody on, as the A's lose the leadoff walk picked up by Harold Baines. Hasse just did not make contact. Again to right, Sierra. And there are 2 away in the 6th. Mertry doing a heck of a job. Next Friday night, Cincinnati Reds and the Los Angeles Dodgers will go at it at Dodgers Stadium. That'll be the second half of the Friday night doubleheader at 10:30, or you'll see Houston and San Francisco. Dodgers continuing to hang tough. Montreal beat them 5-2 today, while the Giants were beaten in the 9th by the Mets 4-3. Well, Los Angeles 5.5 games out. They had a 5-game win streak broken by Montreal today. And with 2 away and the bases empty, Randolph with the 0-for-2, batting .243.
And from the Reds' point of view, it's 1 more day off the schedule.
1 more gone. Center field, Pettis. A long fly ball out, but it's a fly ball out. And McMurtry, of course, Cy Young, after whom is named the Cy Young Award for the best pitcher in both leagues. We talked earlier about whether it'll go to Bob Welch out there on the mound working for the Oakland A's.
Again, I think Bob Welch, like Dave Stewart, is deserving of the award, but the Rocket Man has just been unbelievable the last few weeks.
You're right. He's carrying the Red Sox. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the rookie. Gonzalez has popped up twice. Rick Honeycutt is up in the bullpen for the A's. In there. 6 strikeouts for Welch. Gonzalez wasn't too sure. 1 away, 7th inning. I want to thank the Vista Library, San Diego County, helping us on our way back machine Friday nights. The breaking ball by Welch. And of course, Zach Cutlow and his father Jay, who helps us once in a while, our producer down there. Zach does most of the work. Outside for a ball. Kunkel delivered his 3rd home run in the 3rd inning. Called out on strikes in the 5th. 1 walk, 6 strikeouts for Bob Welch. In this ball game, it looked like the A's were going to take off, getting 2 in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, is settled in to a pitcher's game. 3-8-1 for the A's, 2-6-0 for the Rangers. 1 unearned run has been scored by Texas. 2 balls, 1 strike. Not a sellout crowd here tonight at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. One of the few times that has happened. And Welch, 2 balls, 2 strikes. The A's have drawn over 2,300,000 here at home this season, averaging over 36,000. Folks out on a beautiful night. 2-2 stays. Well, Toronto, they're probably going to draw 4 million people. They're sold out.
Is that possible?
It's possible. They are sold out for the remainder of the year for their home dates.
Well, they better start winning a little more consistently anyway. Good pitch.
Got him inside corner, and complaining about it is Kunkel. Welch has 7 strikeouts. John Saunders.
In case you missed it earlier tonight, quite a finish in New York, but Drosian trying to stop the tide. Howard Johnson just bloops it. Kingery dives, can't get to it. 3 runs in the 9th inning as Strawberry scores as the Mets come back. They're now just a half game behind the Pittsburgh Pirates as the Pirates lost.
Killer night for Pittsburgh that lost in the 9th inning. 2 down, bases empty.
Tough night all the way around. Tough night for the Giants, who were winning that ball game after getting a home run from Kevin Mitchell and Matt Williams to go ahead of Frank Viola. And tough for Pittsburgh because they were winning, as you said, a whole ball game and then end up losing in the bottom of the 9th.
Strike on the outside corner, and San Francisco knew going into it Chicago had beaten Cincinnati in a day game at Wrigley. It's made it hurt a little more.
But I guess all is fair in love and war, as they say, because Chicago scored in the bottom of the 9th to beat Cincinnati.
That's
so
right.
I guess all 3 of the teams were, that, you know, it was just fair play.
Been a 9th inning day so far.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike. Pettis, who doubled his last time up, fouls it off. We're talking about 1903 in that first World Series. Could it be repeated this year? Pittsburgh and Boston, those were the 2 teams that were in it in 1903.
Well, I wasn't around then, and I don't, but if you say so.
I'm sorry.
Okay, if you say so.
I thought you hit against
I was
Cy Young.
interested in that picture of Cy Young there. Yeah, and Honus Wagner.
1 ball, 2 strike delivery. And 5 for a ball. It was an interesting story we were reading from the history books of baseball. We were talking, Joe, on Cy Young. He was still pitching well at the age of 44, but he had grown a little portly and he couldn't field his position, and they bunted him out of baseball. And Welch strikes the side out. All 3 were called strikes. 7th inning stretch time from Oakland. 7th inning, 8 in the game, preserving that A's 3-2 lead. You don't see many innings where you have, number 1, 3 strikeouts, but all 3 called.
Yes. And a couple of them felt like they were not out.
Including Gary Pettis.
Yeah, they felt like Tim Cheetah had struck them out instead of Bob Welch.
Craig McMurtry on a relief of Jamie Moyer. We told you that his last 2 appearances had been as a starter as he faces Gallego. Bobby Valentine might be wishing he'd started McMurtry. Moyer went 2 2/3, 3 runs, 6 hits. Since then, McMurtry's been able to shut the A's down. Given up only 2 hits.
Well, I think he had a perfect situation when he started Moyer, hoping, of course, that Moyer would do better. But when the A's stacked their lineup with right-handed hitters, and he immediately warmed up McMurtry, that puts everything in his favor. That's a real good curveball right there, too. We're seeing some good curveballs from both Bob Welch and Craig McMurtry.
Caused Gallego to walk away after that curveball.
You don't see a lot of big curveballs anymore in the major leagues. 1, because they're tougher to control, and 2, because if you hang it, it becomes a mediocre fastball and they will hurt you. So a lot of people throw the slider instead because they figure they can control it and get it toward the outside corner.
Gallego fights off the 2-2 pitch.
But if you hang that, it becomes a mediocre fastball as well.
Think any the difference in the strike zone has affected that at all?
I've heard a lot of people talk about that. I find it hard to think that an entire league of umpires would change their strike zones. I think we're always looking for excuses or reasons why the pitching is not up to the standards that we think it should be, and sometimes we put the umpires at a disadvantage. I personally think that the strike zone may be a little smaller, but I don't think that's the reason that pitching is down or guys can't control the curveball.
That's not what McMurtry wanted to do. A 1-run ball game, bottom of the 7th inning. Gallego draws a leadoff walk.
Yeah, but the other part of that is, why would you throw Mike Gallego a 3-2 curveball? He's not a home run hitter. And you'd rather go ahead and make him hit the ball. That's what you assume anyway.
Well, Bobby Valentine will talk to himself about that leadoff walk, because not only does put the man on, but it also brings up Ricky Henderson.
And what that does in effect is, if Ricky hits a ground ball, then you trade places. You put him at first base instead of Gallego.
Ricky's upped his average 3 points tonight on all 3 times up. A double, single, and a walk, leading the league in hitting. And he showed bunt. Kunkel starts charging at third. Did he mean it?
Not all of a sudden, McMurtry has fallen in love with his curveball. I mean, he's decided that's what he's going to throw right now. Maybe it's tiring because he's been in there quite a while and doesn't feel like he can throw the fastball as well as he could earlier.
He's thrown only 10 innings in a month.
Right, so that means you'll get tired a lot quicker. Contrary to the fact that what people may believe is about if you don't pitch for a while, you're strong. You are for the first couple of innings. But if you haven't pitched, you run out of gas very quickly.
Stalling to get some time for the bullpen. Arnsberg hurrying up to get ready. Ricky Henderson, you talk about MVP numbers. We mentioned a bunch of them. There's another number that impressed me. StatsInc provided us with today. Ricky Henderson, in late situations from the 7th inning on, close ball games where it's 3 runs or less, is batting .423 in those situations. That's a clutch hitter.
Well, he has a lot of things working in his favor there as well, Gary. In most times, they do not want to walk Ricky Henderson into situations where the game is on the line. So he may get more pitches in the middle of the plate than, say, a Jose Canseco or someone like that. So a lot of times statistics can be deceiving, not that they are in this situation, but there are other things that come into play.
Henderson on a check swing, a foul ball. And he kisses the bat. 1 ball, 1 strike. He did not want that ball to be fair, so when it went foul, he still had the bat in his hand, and he gave it a little mwah. Baseball tonight coming up here on ESPN. Scores and highlights. Our analysts at work for you, and of course, features on the teams and players and people of the game. Every night, baseball tonight right here on ESPN. McMurtry in a tough situation with Gallego at first and Henderson up. 1-1 the count. Nobody out. Ricky. Jeff Houston. Gets the out at second base as Franco had to drag that back foot across the bag, force out on Gallego.
Yeah, but you see what happens now because he walked Gallego. He trades bases. He gets Ricky Henderson on first base. That's what I was talking about. If he hits a ground ball, now you trade places. You would rather have Ricky Henderson there if you're the Oakland A's than Gallego. So, in effect, when you walk Gallego in front of Henderson, you're really hurting yourself a lot more than you realize. It's more than just a base on balls. There are other things that happen afterwards.
McMurtry caught Henderson. See what happens here.
Well, a good base stealer will steal the base again. He will steal the base. You know, you can't let a pitcher intimidate you. You can't let a catcher intimidate you. If the catcher throws you out, you say, hey, hook it up because I'm going again when I get on. And Ricky didn't even break off first base there.
In the 4th inning, when Henderson was on, he got caught leaning, and McMurtry got him easily. 3rd time this season that Henderson has been taken off the base paths that way. It's not called a pickoff if he makes a break to second base, and Henderson did, so it's caught stealing. But McMurtry's the one who got him. 1-0. Lansford to right field. Sierra. And there are 2 down. So Carney Lansford a 2 for 4. Henderson back to first. Sierra hauling it in and just checking things up before he gets back into position. Well, can Jose deliver a big hit?
The batter, right fielder, Jose Canseco.
Going to find out. 2 down. Oakland leading it 3-2.
Tell you one thing, he and Ricky Henderson have some pretty gloves on. Very colorful.
Neon.
Yeah. It's obvious that Ricky doesn't have as big a lead now as he had the last time when he was picked off. I think he has to steal the base. I mean, you have to make your point. If you're a base stealer, you have to say, hey, I'm the best. Get me.
Good strike by McMurtry. And Henderson's being tied up over there at first base by McMurtry. You see the 19 games, the at-bats now are up to 78 through that time without a home run for a guy who gets one in his career once every 14 at-bats. 0-1.
Well, he hit a home run in Detroit last Saturday, a little line drive over the 440-foot side. That's the day that Cecil Fielder went on the roof. They put on a power display that day in Tiger Stadium.
All three. McGuire got involved in that too.
But Cecil hit 2 of them.
0-2 count. It'll be out of play. It'll stay 0-2. 2 down. See Canseco shaking his head. Just not quite, as Joe said, getting it.
No, he's just a little off. I talked to him last week and he felt like, you know, maybe it was 75%. But he just could not turn as well. He's not using his legs as well, he said, or his right side, and that slows his bat down.
Henderson at first. The 0-2 bounced. Charlie makes the stop, keeps the ball in front of him. 1-2.
This ball's in the dirt. It's a good breaking ball. Petrali gets over in front of it, as you should, and he just keeps the ball in front of him. Nothing Ricky Henderson can do.
Fans trying to get one for Canseco. Here's the 1-2. Another foul ball.
I tell you what, if Lou Brock is watching this game or Maury Wills is watching the game, they're upset.
Why is he still on first?
Yeah, why is he still on first? He got picked off last time. You have to say, I'm Ricky Henderson. Do it again, I'm going to steal the base. And he has stood there for about 6 pitches now. So he's had plenty of opportunity to go. I think you have to go to establish to the pitcher that you're not afraid of him.
There goes Henderson. Fouled off again. 3 foul balls on a 1-2 count, and Ricky will go back to first base. Tony La Russa looking for a 3rd pennant with the Oakland A's, looking for another 100-win season. After 82 here tonight, McMurtry trying to prevent that. The A's up 3-2. A's have not left a base runner on since the 3rd inning. McMurtry's been that tough. Henderson again going. Canseco climbing the ladder, fouls it back.
Yeah, but see, the problem now, he's waited until there's 2 strikes, and when McMurtry throws a strike, Canseco has to swing. I guess what I'm talking about, I've seen times when Maury Wills was thrown out stealing second, say in the 1st inning. The next time up he'd get on, he'd steal second, then he'd steal 3rd.
Yeah.
He'd stand over there and kind of smile at you. And I've seen Lou Brock, get thrown out stealing second. And when he gets on base the next time, hook it up, because here we go again. And that's the mentality you have to have, I think. Almost got him.
Ricky has been thrown out by Harper, Guerin, and Alomar. They are the catchers who nailed him at second base. Gedman threw him out once at 3rd. 1-2. Henderson not going. And it's inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, McMurtry has made a good pickoff move to pitch before and almost got Ricky, so he had Ricky frozen over at first base on that play, that pitch.
3-2 A's lead, bottom of the 7th inning. 2 down. That's why I like to have that left-handed first baseman like Palmeiro. See, if you get a good throw over there, that left-hander's glove is right down there where the runner's coming back. throw it into the glove and you don't have to move it. Runner will dive right back into it for a pickoff. Joe Brinkman, the umpire, between the two. 2-2. Henderson goes right field. Sierra back. Warning track. May have room. He does. He hauls it in. Perfectly timed by Ruben Sierra. He got there, waited, and caught it. We're still a one-run ball game. Gary Thorne and Joe Morgan with you here in Oakland, and along with 35,306 the announced attendance tonight, and a good ball game as we go to the 8th inning. Bob Welch has gone the distance. Jeff Houston leads it off against him and takes the strike. Kunkel, a home run in the 3rd inning and an unearned run in the 4th. The 2 runs for Texas off Welch. To left field, Ricky Henderson. Houston's 0 for 4, 1 away in the 8th. Welch has walked 1 and struck out 8, the 5th time this season that he has had an 8 strikeout game. Jamie Moyer started for Texas, 2 2/3, 3 runs, 6 hits, still the pitcher of record. McMurtry has come on and given up just 2 hits. Strong relief work, but Welch still has the lead.
Well, McMurtry has certainly given them a chance to come back, and now Tony La Russa comes out and says that's enough.
Well, Bob Welch has pitched only 2 complete games this season. He doesn't go the distance very often. Both of the complete games were shutouts. He's going to come out of there, and we are going to get the left-hander. They play it by the book. Yeah, that's what Tony La Russa is doing here. Welch is gone. Rick Honeycutt's in. Numbers on Honeycutt, the left-hander.
Honeycutt throws a good sinker ball and has a good breaking ball. I say breaking ball instead of a curve ball because some people call it a slider, some people call it a curve ball, so we'll just use breaking ball.
Slurve.
Yeah.
Palmeiro, 1 down, nobody on, to left field again, left center, backing up on it Gallego, the shortstop. 1 pitch by Honeycutt, and 2nd out of the inning. John Saunders.
Mark Langston has won 3 games in a row for the California Angels, but Frank Thomas reaches inside for this pitch and still fights it all the way out to center field. A monstrous home run. 3-run shot puts Chicago up 6-2 in the 7th. Let's get back to Gary and Joe.
Remember that name. White Sox are very impressed with a young man named Frank Thomas.
You have to be impressed if he can get jammed and go straight away.
He is a big kid. And he is just a kid. He was just signed last year. 2 down, and the bases are empty. Ruben Sierra, the 0 for 3, batting at .284. Working against Honeycutt. Sierra's batting .339 off left-handers this year. Center field, McGee. Rick Honeycutt gets it done in a hurry. 3 up, 3 down in the 8th inning for the Rangers. And our Budweiser storyline here in Oakland tonight, with the A's leading 3-2. Bob Welch going after victory number 22. Strong performance. There's his line on the night. With the 8 strikeouts, Carney Lansford, Ricky Henderson. Combined, the 4 for 7, 2 runs and 2 RBIs. Kunkel, the solo home run, his 3rd of the season, that came in the 3rd. The other Texas run was unearned. It's not over yet. Bottom of the 8th inning, and Kenny Rogers is on in relief.
For Texas, number 37, Kenny Rogers.
Kenny has 12 saves. Innings pitched, not too bad. Almost a good strikeout to base on balls ratio. You like 2 strikeouts for every base on balls.
Came on with a vengeance last year. 59th appearance. He's given up a hit per inning pitch this year, though, and that's not what they'd anticipated. He has struck out the 56. Well, let's see what he can do against Mark McGuire, who takes the pitch for the strike. What a performance by Craig McMurtry. 4 1/3 innings, no runs, only 2 hits, a couple of walks, no strikeouts. Great middle relief effort. Held the score at 3-2. Little run in, 1-1. Breaking ball by Rogers, misses down low, 2 balls, 1 strike. Mentioned earlier, McGuire's hitting only .216 off the left-handers.
Take a look at his grip there. You can see that he has his one finger buried, they call it. See his left hand, his left little fingers underneath the knob. You have to be real strong to swing a bat with just 9 fingers. A lot of guys do that because they feel like they get better bat speed, they get a better turnover with their top hand. Their wrist and hands work better together through the swing. I wasn't strong enough to do that.
Let go of the bat. Rogers just misses. Wanted to call on that and didn't get it. Full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Willie McGee waiting on deck. McGuire's been on all 3 times tonight, raising the average to 221. And he's on again. New career high in walks for him. And he's gotten the job done getting on base, so Rogers puts the leadoff man on. This copywritten telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted prior to midnight in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. And that couple at the Dome. So Kenny Rogers now has to work to Willie McGee. McGee in his first time up got an RBI and a ground ball out, looking for his first hit in the American League. First game played as he arrived today. And Rogers stays away. Strike 1.
Willie McGee had at one time this season, I did a game earlier a couple of weeks ago, he was hitting like .332 right-handed and .331 left-handed.
And he'll give you those kind of swings.
Yes, he will.
0-2. Sometimes Willie McGee can look as bad at the plate as anyone you've ever seen swinging, but the next pitch or the next at bat will put a P off the wall somewhere. Jeff Houston. No relay by Franco. They'll get the force out on McGuire at second base on the tapper by McGee. 1 away. Willie's taken the 0 for 4. But in this 3-2 game represents a potential very important run. And now Harold Baines, the other acquisition, comes up for the second time. Drew a walk in the 6th when he pinch hit for Terry Steinbach. He's the DH.
McGee is, is a good base stealer.
Oh, he won't have to work hard on that one. That's deep into the bullpen. McGee on his way to third. McGee coming to third is being waved home by Rene Latchman. Here comes the throw to the plate. He scores from first on a wild throw by the pitcher, Kenny Rogers.
Well, that's what speed will do for you. Rogers tries to pick him off. The throw gets away. Now watch Willie. He can run. And he doesn't look back. He picks up the coach right there. Now he slows up a little bit, and the coach says, go. When I say slow up, really, he didn't slow up. He was still flying, but he broke it down a notch.
What a big error. That makes it a 4-2 game in the bottom of the 8th inning. So without a hit tonight, Willie McGee has an RBI and has scored a run. And Ricky to his left, leaning in on the conversation and the smile. Well, that's the unearned run Oakland gave Texas earlier, and they get it back. Baines takes the strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's the first error committed by the Rangers in the game, but they're 109th of the year. Charlie thought that was a strike. He was ready to whip it around. And there's Willie McGee.
I say Willie will help this ball club a lot more than I think most people realize, because he can play, and he plays hard every day.
Rogers with a 2-2 on Baines. Goes full. Interesting. Harold Baines rejoins Tony La Russa, who used to manage the White Sox and was a White Sox minor league manager. Tony La Russa coached Harold Baines in every organization he was with in the White Sox. 1978 at Double-A ball right on up. Baines trying to dump one in, and it's a foul ball. Padilla picking it up. And Harold Baines said before the game tonight, he said, "I'm really happy to be back with Tony La Russa, where I feel more comfortable than I did at Texas with Bobby Valentine."
Well, I don't think that's a slap at Valentine. No. I think it's more, you know, he came up in the minor league organization with Tony La Russa. He played for him in the major leagues, and naturally, you feel more comfortable around the guy that you know well.
3-2 count again. Rogers. Baines to center. Pettis. 2 down here in the 8th inning. 4-2 lead for the A's. Sunday, John Miller, Joe Morgan, our ESPN Sunday Night Baseball game. That great rivalry, the Yankees and the Red Sox. You'll see it 8 o'clock Eastern Time Sunday night. They continue that series at Fenway. Boston won today 7-3.
Seems like Boston wins every day. They've
turning
had
it on,
6-game winning streaks, and they had one broken, then they start another one.
They've won 8 in a row now in this one. Towards the hole, and a base hit. So Hasse has been denied with a couple of shots tonight. Gets one. 1 for 4 for Ron Hasse. A single. 9 hits for the A's. First one off Rogers.
That was one of those situations where Ron Hasse just looked like he was going to catch the ball on the bat and throw it through the left side of the infield. He did not have a real swing at the ball. Watch, he just kind of serves it over there, right there. He's falling back on his heels a little bit, but he said, "I'm going to sneak this one through the left side," and he does so.
So that'll give Randolph another at bat outside from Rogers. Rogers appeared last season in 73 games for Texas. He ended up 3-4 with 2 saves. He was a setup man. Struck out 63 in 73 innings. Randolph fouls it back, and Valentine and the Ranger organization hoping that this 25-year-old left-hander is going to be an integral part of their staff. Saying before the game, Rogers just got off to a bad start this season. Bobby Valentine said, "We just had hoped he would be able to kick in his second year strong at the beginning, but it didn't work out that way. So he's had to come along later in the year. Every reason to believe he's going to be around for a while." Randolph to right center field. Sierra puts it away, and that'll do it. An unearned run in the 8th inning. Texas coming up in the 9th. Ninth inning at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. Gary Thorne and Joe Morgan, and we hope you've enjoyed this one as much as we have, and it is not over yet. The A's get a big unearned run in the bottom of the 8th, and there's the Eck.
Well, Dennis Eckersley, he had a blown save yesterday, but he ends up getting the victory. He was trying to save Dave Stewart's 18th ball game of the season, and he gave up a home run to Bo Jackson in the 9th inning to tie the game. Then the A's came back and won it, so he got the victory. But Dennis Eckersley has been almost perfect so far this season. I think he only has 2 blown saves, and he's just been unbelievable. That's the other one he had was versus Texas. So he's had 2 blown saves, one June 12th and one August 30th. So not too bad.
That's not too bad at all. The Eck is second in saves behind Bobby Thigpen of the White Sox with 44. Eckersley with 39. Both of them chasing the American League record of Dave Righetti at 46 for saves in a season. And he starts it out here outside. Franco. He's had a couple of hits tonight. He's batting .302.
I think one of the secrets to Eckersley's success is that he throws strikes. He gets out in front of the hitters, and he uses both of his pitches, the good hard slider and the fastball. And he's not afraid to throw the fastball because he doesn't get it in the middle of the plate. He gets it on one edge or the other. And if he can do that, you're not going to really get a good swing at him. And this is something that happened when he blew the save on June 12th against Texas. Julio Franco kept stepping in and out of the batter's box, slowing him down.
Drives that one to center. McGee. There's a long out, but it's the out. One away. One down in the ninth. Sports Center coming along next. And Jim will be there for you. They'll have the baseball scores and highlights, just about everything done. Football, USC, Syracuse. That's a completed game. And lots of National Football League preseason scores and highlights, and the Open from Flushing Meadows in New York. Next on Sports Center. One away. Eckersley against Incaviglia. Can give you the long ball in a hurry. 0-1.
Well, let's see if the Texas Rangers try to slow Eckersley down. They did that intentionally last time, and it worked.
And he's got the base hit. McGee over to get it. Incaviglia just his 6th hit in his last 50 at-bats. But a 1-out single in the ninth will bring the potential tying run to the plate.
The batter, catcher, Gino Petrali.
And Gino Petrali is that person with 1 out.
Most managers do not, pinch run unless you're the tying run or the winning run. They don't pinch run for just another run, that brings you closer. Because if you do luck up and tie it, you don't want to have a hitter out of the ball game.
Unearned run weighs even more heavily.
Yeah.
Eckersley up 0-2.
It's always important if you can go to the ninth inning with a 2-run lead rather than a 1-run lead. 1-run lead, it keeps a lot of pressure on every pitch, especially with a guy like Incaviglia, because he can hit the ball out of the ballpark. But if you have a 2-run lead, it doesn't.
Ooh, he's gone. Petrali is thrown out of the game, arguing that last called strike. He leaves with an 0-2 count. The Rangers have not liked Tim Cheetah's strike zone tonight. And whatever Petrali said was the key word, because he's gone. Bobby Valentine might be willing to take a heave right here, too.
And Bobby's asking, what did he say? And he says, you're going to throw him out for that?
What really upsets Bobby Valentine is it's an 0-2 count. Somebody's got to come in with an 0-2 count.
Well, I think Bobby's saying you threw him out for that, for questioning your pitch call. And I guess probably Tim had enough. They've been questioning him all evening, and maybe just said, I've had enough.
And by the way he's letting Valentine go, Cheetah might be giving Valentine the benefit of the doubt right here, because it's a tough place to throw somebody out of the game. Joe Brinkman is the crew chief, standing there in the middle.
Well, he's saying timeout. Petrali said the same thing. Petrali was saying, I was trying to call timeout. Well, obviously we're not at a tennis match, so we don't have the player have a microphone close to the players, but
you can lip read pretty good, Bobby.
Yeah.
Well, Eckersley's throwing, and LaRussa's unhappy about the time delay here. He just started out towards home plate. Eckersley told Hasse to get down behind the plate so he could keep the arm warm.
Well, again, Eckersley was visibly upset June 12th when the Rangers slowed down, and he felt like that hurt him. That was one of the reasons that he blew the save. So I'm sure Bobby Valentine remembers that. And I mean, he's going to play this as long as he possibly can and let Eckersley stand out there. He acts like he's contemplating who he's going to put in to hit.
Doherty is already out there.
But he's trying to decide. He said, who's my best 0-2 hitter here?
This is a tough situation for a guy to pinch hit, and there he officially designates him. Take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
Well, he called a strike, and then it took a little while before he actually kicked him out.
But pitching with an 0-2 count, Number 8.
This would be
Jack
interesting to find out. I think I have to go down and ask
What did
he
you
said.
say?
Yeah.
Well, you talk about coming in a tough situation. Jack Doherty's going to do just that.
Well, really, it's not that tough, Gary.
No?
It's 0-2, but it's 0-2 on Petrali, not you.
Well, that's true. I guess, when you look at it that way, I guess that's true.
Yeah, if you go up and strike out, it's not your strikeout,
No.
it's Petrali. So you just get you one good swing. Uh-oh.
Maybe not even that.
Yeah, all you want to do is get one good swing.
Doherty's a switch hitter. As a pinch hitter, he's 8 for 38 with 6 RBIs. He's batting .297, .260 right-handed, but .313 left-handed. 1-2 count, runner at first. Remember, we're in the 9th inning here in a 4-2 ball game, and the Rangers have Incaviglia on at first base, and Eckersley 2-2. You see, obviously, he's just going to try and get him to chase one on those first 2 pitches. Doherty coming up cold. Now he'll go after him. 3-2.
And X says, where was that one? Plus, Eckersley didn't stop on that pitch either. That was a balk if ever there was one.
Interesting finish here in the 9th inning. Doherty pops it up. McGuire, the only one with a chance, and he didn't have much of one. Whoa, big fella.
Eckersley doesn't ever give in. He threw 2 fastballs away and missed with a 3rd slider out there. Came back with a 3-2 breaking ball. And Doherty was able to foul it off. See, the rules say you have to stop, and Eckersley is not stopping.
Runner goes. Swung on and hit the center. McGee. And there are 2 down. So Doherty is out of there. Incaviglia goes back to first base, and the Rangers are down to their final out.
Well, now that at bat is charged to Doherty now because he made contact.
So on the line here, along with the ball game, with the A's leading at 4-2, 2 down in the 9th. Bob Welch is waiting to see if he gets his 22nd victory. Jamie Moyer, who would go 1-6, the pitcher of record for the Rangers. Gonzalez, the rookie, way out in front on Eckersley, strike 1. And Eckersley is after save number 40. Cue shot, 0-2.
We have not seen Gonzalez have a good swing tonight unless the ball was up and in. Balls away from him, he seems to have a lot of problems with. Kind of waves at him.
Fans are up. 0-2 the count. 2 down. That's the ball game. Welch the win. Eckersley the save. Moyer the loss. The Rangers have lost 4 in a row. Oakland gets their 82nd win. That's an Oakland kind of victory, Joe Morgan.
Yes, it is. Well, they keep you down as far as scoring runs, and then hold you down with their pitching staff, and then bring Eckersley in for the save.
That'll do it. And for Joe Morgan and all of our crew here in Oakland, this is Gary Thorne. Thank you very much for being with us. Have a great holiday weekend, won't you? Our final, the A's 4 and the Rangers 2.